screen, a digital domain. Lone wolf on the hunt, I'm playing the game. Move now, move, I own the night. Level up in a silver light.
All right. Good morning, you beautiful people. This is Lunar Wolf Gaming, and I am the Lunar Wolf. Today, we are going to play a game that is new to me. I've seen a couple of people play it. I used to play Farming Simulator 25, and I came across this guy that played Out of War. And at first, I thought the game was, kind of trashy, not really what I was expecting. But as I've seen other people play it, seen some of their, tutorials, things like that, I've come to realize the game is actually, fairly decent, and it looks like a lot of fun. I've never played personally before, so this is my first time playing. I did complete the tutorial already, just to kind of find out how the controls work and how everything goes. And so, it is a little bit difficult. Some of the controls are a little bit difficult to learn. You can change them here in the settings menu. You just go under settings and then go down to controls, and you do have things for keyboard, controller, joysticks, whatever. Like if you had a steering wheel or something like that, you could set it up for all of that. I don't really use the keyboard so much. I use mainly the controller and the joystick, and I do have those mapped from basically playing the tutorial. I have seen a lot of comments on the tutorial about how difficult it is and things like that. And I found it to be a little bit challenging. There's some things that's really easy, but I've learned that if you take the time to read and follow the directions of what it's telling you to do, as long as you're close or nearby, you can get it to do what you want to do. So we're going to be taking a look at the tutorial today, just kind of going through basic setups and everything. This video shouldn't be too long because this is my first YouTube video, so I've never done a YouTube video before. It's my first one, especially for gaming and things like that, so I apologize if I'm a little bit nervous, but just hang with me and we'll get through this together. Okay, so I'm gonna back out here and go back to the home screen. What we want to do is we want to go to single player, and then we're going to do the tutorial, and then say start tutorial. Yeah, we want to confirm that, no problem. So what happens is, you just start in the middle of nowhere. You got four basic components down here. You got your pickaxe, your shovel, your light, your axe, and your sledgehammer. The pickaxe will help you dig into the ground, and you can see that here. So if I take my pickaxe and I just start digging into the ground, you'll see I'm getting dirt and things like that. Now it is kind of slow, but if you go to the store here, which is very easy to do, you can go to the store, you can get equipment, and you can scroll down here and get what's called fast equipment. So if I trade it in for, say, the fast pickaxe or the fast shovel or the fast sledge, so we'll just pick the pickaxe here, $8,500, and we will sell this old one, get that out of here, move that up into our inventory, and then go back. So now we still have the pickaxe, but look how much quicker that is. And so, that's kind of helpful if you can do that. You can change the camera to either first person or third person. Sometimes doing the first person like this is a little bit easier so you can see what you're doing, especially if you're digging or whatnot. Sometimes third person is better, especially if you're in vehicles and things like that, because you can see a little bit better. And so the camera is really sensitive. It goes really quickly. I may need to turn the sensitivity down on that. But in the top right hand corner of the screen, you'll see we're laborer tier 1, and basically we're starting at the bottom of the barrel. But when you do things digging for dirt and stuff like that, you'll see your XP increase. You see that? And so that's how you level up, is just by doing things like that. So it says, okay, it wants us to select the axe. We're just going to go over here to the axe. Now, the axe is really interesting because that is the only piece of equipment that I have come across that is not fast. And I don't know why they don't make a fast one, but you just walk up to a tree, hit your toggle button, one swing, bam, it's gone. I wish that can happen in real life, but unfortunately we're not that strong. We're not like Superman where we could just chop down trees with one whack. I mean, it's not like Karate Kid where one whack hits the nail in the board. You know what I mean? We're not Daniel-san. So yeah, you can see we're promoted and we've already leveled up. And we've got everything that we need to do. So now we need to buy a wood workbench. And so we need to open the store. We're going to go over here to purchase. And I think this is under buildings. I may be wrong. No, it's right there under buildings. So we're going to buy a build workbench. All right, that's in our inventory now. And here's our inventory. We have all of these slots available. So what we've got to do now is we have to go down here to this little area down here, and we need to place that wood workbench there. And you can really place it however you want to. It will accept what what you've done. But we're going to tab over here. I'm not going to do grid build. I'm going to do snap build because snap build allows you to kind of rotate things. So I'm going to do snap build and get it as close as I can. Bam, there it is. Hey, we got promoted again. We have 10 skill points, which there is a skill tier. So let me go to I think it's the store menu maybe. No, dadgummit. I know it's not home. There is a skill tree that we'll have to look at, and I'll show you that later. But the skill tree allows you to unlevel things like how high you can jump, how fast you can run, all of that fun stuff. You can dump all of your skills into that skill tree, and then just kind of choose the path that you want to go on. So now we're going to come over here to the wood bench, and we're gonna make a wood block. And how you do that is you take these tree logs, you put them over here, and we got to make 5 wood beams. So we're gonna come over here and we're gonna type in 5, not 45, Danny, 5, and then we're gonna do wood beams and drag it down there. It tells us it'll take about 50 seconds. So during that time, I just like to screw around and chop some more trees down, things like that. It's kind of fun. You do get a lot of wood and stuff for that. Now, everything with the tutorial is just kind of basic controls. And like I said, what you really want to do is you really want to get those set up so that way when you start playing the real game, you kind of have an idea of what you're doing and not kind of setting things up on the fly. So if you already have it set up in the tutorial, once you complete the tutorial, what will happen is those controls will carry over into the regular game. And you'll see that when we start a game. I did start one little game after I completed the tutorial to kind of see how the companies worked, because you can create your own mining company, name it whatever you want. There is a way where you can graft your own logo into that. I've been researching that, so I don't know exactly how to do that right offhand, but maybe one of the future videos to come. And so once our wood block is made, let's see, I think it's done. Get back in here. All right, yep, so our wood beams are done. So now we got to make 1 wood block. So we're going to change this back down to 1, and then we're going to drag the wood block down here, and that's going to take 14 seconds to do. Now, with the wood blocks and stuff, I really don't care too much for them. The reason being is because it takes a little bit of wood to get it done. And depending on what map you choose, there may not be a lot of wood available. So you may not be able to build wood blocks on every map. And you'll see that with the maps that you choose and things like that. So that's something to keep in mind, okay? So now we've got our wood block, so we're going to exit out of here. And, oh, no, I guess I need to put in my inventory. Way to go, Lunar. Way to go. All right, so we'll drag that over here to our inventory. Now that's in our inventory and it says quest completed, wood block is now available. So we'll come out of here, and then what we'll do is, you see it wants us to put the wood block there. So we'll select the wood block, bring it up as close as we can, and boom, that should do that. And the wood block is completed. So now what it's going to ask us to do is use the sledgehammer to disassemble it. And this works with anything that you build, not just wood blocks. So like, let's say you set down a piece of equipment that you didn't mean to sit down, or it doesn't look right. You can always come over here to the sledgehammer, take a swing, bing, bang, boom, you're done. And you know, we're just leveling up quests here. So now it says dark spots indicate ore beneath them. It could be very far down. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here. We're going to follow everything that we need. And now we've discovered ore, but we got to use the pickaxe again. So luckily we got that fast pickaxe. Bing, bang, boom. We're done. We've got promoted. Man, we're just leveling up real quick. And we have the ore that we need. And so what we got to do now is we got to run to the surface. I don't know why it won't allow you to sell things like underneath the ground, but you know, that's kind of weird. I don't know if maybe it's the tutorial only or whatnot, but we're gonna go over here and we're gonna sell it in the store. So I just open the store. Let's see, I go to sell, drag the iron ore over. We'll get 53 bucks for 3 of them, which ain't bad. And then we'll just drop that in here, and then you'll see over here our money increased. If we want to drop the dirt, which is ironic, dirt is worth a lot in this game, especially if you have a large quantity of it. Not so much as the ore, but you know, we'll get 41 bucks for that, and you'll see our total up here changed again. We want to sell the tree logs, 168, total changed again. So that's how the store works. It's kind of fun. Especially like if you're getting a lot of, you know, ingots, where you have refined the ore into like the metal. So like you'll see down here on the right hand side of the screen next to the wood block, like if we go all the way over this way, you'll see, oh well, we can't actually select it, but you'll see these ingots over here. If it's refined like that, you can get a major killing of cash just for, you know, refined ore and things like that. You can also get a pretty decent sum of money if you don't refine it, but obviously you're not going to get as much as if you had refined it. All right, so now we've come to the bank here. We've got to take a $500,000 loan. So let's just do that here. We're going to click get money, 500, 1, 2, 3, and then confirm. And then we took out a $500,000 loan. Keep in mind, when you take out a loan, look at this interest payment. That is something that can be a real Debbie Downer if you don't pay attention to it, because as you can see, we're going to be charged $583 a minute. So that means every minute that ticks past in game time, you're going to see $583 being deducted for just the interest payment. Basically, if you don't pay attention to that, you could go broke so quickly. And I have actually seen that happen a couple of times on a couple of different players. They're like, oh my God, why is my money going down? And it's basically because they weren't paying attention to the loan interest payments, and they were just getting raked over the coals. So now we need to buy a loader. We're going to go over here to vehicles, and then we're going to look for loaders. I like to get the cheapest loader because, you know, obviously it just doesn't really matter, but you need a fairly good size one. So we won't go for the baby cheap. We'll go for mid-range cheap, 78K, no big deal. Purchase that, and then we're going to run over here to our little designated spot. We're going to select the loader here, and it's going to come in by chopper. So we're going to activate that. Chopper is going to bring that. There it is. All right, and there's our loader. Now we need to purchase an LED light bar from the store. So once again, we're going to run over here to the store, open the store, and instead of vehicles and buildings, we're going to get, I think it's resources. No, not resources. It must be equipment. Yep, equipment. So we'll go over equipment. We'll get a light bar 3, call it a day. That's in our inventory. And as you can see, that quest is now completed. So what we'll do is we'll run over here. We will hop in the vehicle. And then what happens is you can actually, and then see, these are all the different cameras that you can do. But we're going to open our inventory. And so once you open your inventory while you're in the vehicle, you're going to take this, let's just take this trashy beacon off. And then we're going to bring this light bar over here and equip it in there, exit out of it. And then we're going to press L to turn on our lights. Bing, bang, boom, quest is completed. Like I said, nothing major that really needs to happen. So now we're going to lift our bucket here. And we're going to circle around, and then we're going to drive over here to the fuel station. This may be one of the ones that I need to like recalibrate because it's a real pain in the keister. You can refuel using RT, which I did. Now we're at max fuel capacity. But while you're trying to drive through, as you can see, it keeps on charging you for fuel, which also comes out of your money. So I need to remap that one because that is definitely not a good thing. You can go broke again really quickly from stupid stuff like that. So we're gonna bring our bucket in here, get some dirt. There we go. Raise it up. And this is where the camera can be a real pain. Get back over here. Oh, okay, I guess I need to dump it in the sell point. There we go. And then we'll just dump that right there into the sell point. Alright, so now we're done with that. Alright, so now this is where it gets really kind of aggravating. Is this this plant over here. This plant can be a real pain, and I mean an absolute terror of a pain, because if you don't set it up just right, what'll happen is it will just act a fool, and it'll be like, no, you didn't complete it correctly and all of that stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here. We're going to go up to our buildings here, and we're going to choose, good grief, where is it at? No, it may not be this one. It's probably factory. Duh, Daniel, factory. All right, so we're going to buy a big hopper because it told us to. And so we're going to put the big hopper right where it requested, which is right there. That quest is done. Now we need to build an up 8x4 conveyor. So we need to come over here. Again, it's under factory. And we're looking for up 8x4 conveyor. Make sure that you read these because there is a couple of different things. Like some of them have pipes in them, and that's not what you want. You want a conveyor belt for sure. So make sure that you just look for the one that says conveyor. So this will say up 8x4. If you're unsure, one thing that you can do is click on it. It says click for more details. And it says this conveyor moves material and ore using electric power. And that's how you can tell. If you're not quite sure, just click on it and it will tell you what you have. So we're going to buy that for 4,500. Come out of here. Now this is where it gets crazy because it says build one conveyor up and connect it looking at the end of the hopper. So what that means is you've got to come down here, look at the end of the hopper this way, and then put that in place. And as you can see, it worked. You got to do the same thing with this conveyor wash plant. So we have to go in here and buy this wash plant. Once we have this wash plant, got to do the same exact thing. And like I said, if you're on snap build, it's a little bit easier. And then pay attention to this arrow. You see this red arrow here in the middle of the wash plant? That will tell you exactly what direction you're going. So make sure that you pay attention to that, because that can be a real pain, especially if you are trying to, complete. Get over here. Quit that. Especially if you're trying to complete things in a certain direction and you want to make sure everything faces the same direction, you definitely want that to follow. So we'll put that there. As you can see, we didn't get credit for that, even though it's lining up pretty much perfectly with that. So what I do in this instance, I demolish it with my sledgehammer, right? And then I quit that. And then what I do is I run over here and I hop up on this conveyor belt. Now, when I hop up on this conveyor belt, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to put the wash plant here. As you can see, it's in a completely different direction than we had intended to put it. So we're going to bring it back here, line it up. Can I get, yep, I got credit for that. And so really it just depends, where you're located. The first two, we had to be on the ground looking this way. This one, we had to be at the top, but all in all, it works out. So now we've got to buy a conveyor storage. What the conveyor storage does is everything that comes out of the wash plant, whether it's like gold or, whatever the case may be, you can store that. And after a while, you can come get a whole bunch of ore out from it and refine it or do whatever you really want to do. So we'll be right here on the end. Hey, quit that, and then bam, put that there. Storage has been completed. All right, now we got to build a power input. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? So we'll come over here because you have to connect the power at the beginning of your conveyor startup. You can't put it at the end. So be careful when you're selecting the power input. And here's why. So we'll just click power, right? This says straight in power input. That's not what you want. Not what you want at all. Technically, and I know this is crazy, but technically it's not looking for that. It's looking for just a basic power input. So we'll build power input 1 times the speed. As you can see, they can get faster, but the faster you go, the more power consumption that you take, okay? So make sure that you keep that in mind. If you're like, man, why is my stuff not working? Make sure that you have enough power in order to power everything sufficiently. And we'll cover that here in a minute. But we're going to click this 1 time speed, no problem. And we're going to bing, bang, boom. We're done. It's right here. All right, now we got to build a power pylon, 600 kilowatts. All right, so what we're going to do, come here in our store, look for a power pylon that is 600 kilowatts, which is this one right here. Bang. All right, come out of our thing here, and then where's this? Yep, there's that pole. Put it right there. All right, quest completed. Hey, we're moving right along, right? Now's where it gets a little bit hairy, because it doesn't tell you right off the rip, but when you buy the power lines to connect this power pylon to this power pole here, you actually need 2 sets of it, and we'll cover that here in a second. But first, we got to build a power generator that's 1600 kilowatts. So we'll go back in here. Let's look for our generator. Let's see. 1600 kilowatts is right there. We'll buy that. Okay. We'll put it right here. Now let's see if we can do a little bit better than that. There we go. Bam. All right, that's there. So now we need to buy 2 power cables to connect the generator to the pylon, and then from the pylon to our hopper, right? So we'll go back in our store. Here's the power cables. We need 1 and 2, and we have 2. So as you can see, we'll go here and we'll click on that, drag it up to the pylon, get over there. Dadgummit. There we go. All right. Then we'll come over here, go from the pylon down to that device there. All right, there we go. So now that's completed. All right, so after that, we need to actually fuel the generator. Sometimes you can buy generators without fuel. Case in point is when you come down here to the solar panels, they obviously get solar energy. You don't have to fuel them, which may save you time and money, especially if you don't have an oil derrick around. You can also use wind turbines. They are pretty, efficient as well. But if you need a lot of power in a short amount of time, you need these power generators. The coal ones are also a little difficult because you have to have coal to get them going. But we'll come up here and we'll buy, I don't know, let's just say 100 generator fuels. And that's $8,900. Put that in our inventory. And then we will click on this here. And then we will bring our generator fuel over to where it says add fuel. Now you see we have 1,000 liters of fuel. Turn the machine on. All right, that's completed. Then we'll come over here. And now that we have power running to this, there we go. We can turn this one on as well. Now you can hear the hopper running. All right, so we're good. The hopper's running, the wash plant's running, the conveyor's running, and the storage is all running on that one little area. So we're going to hop back in our loader here, and it auto starts. Oh, get out of reverse. All right, now with this, the only thing that I really hate about this stinking loader is you see we're not even touching the dirt, but yet we're getting dirt. There is some kind of like weird glitch in this game where if you're not careful, you can tear up the whole area unintentionally. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to raise it off the ground a little bit, come get a big scoop, raise it up, and then we'll bring it over here and put it in our hopper. Good grief. There we go. Alright, so we'll dump that in here. I do like the dirt graphics on this game. I really do. So now we'll pull that out. Put that. Alright, lower our bucket, hop out. That'll turn itself off. Okay, so now it says open the storage, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Open the storage. It says if you have no gold ore, which we do, we'll just wait for that to process. And then we can collect all of these items here and then sell them or refine them. Really just depends on what you want to do, how you want to play your game. So we'll just drag them into our inventory. That's done. We found gold. Yay, congratulations. We're going to return to the loader. All right. And then we are going to go up here to vehicles and then click this return to inventory. And what will happen is that'll put it back in our inventory. It will disappear from here. And then if we just want to drop it again, we go to our inventory, select a place that we want to drop it, and our chopper will deliver that for us. Now it says walk to the marker and see the vast lands that await your discovery and mining. It's all ours to uncover. Thank you, Lord. All right, so we'll come up here. We will run up here to this marker. It kind of does like a cinematic like little scene where it like just looks at everything and then you're like, wow, that's just so majestic and wonderful, and then it pretty much tells you the tutorial is over. So there, see, now our land is ready to explore, and we're looking off into the distance, and it says return to the menu and start a proper save game, which means that we have completed the tutorial. So that works for us. So we're going to hit escape. We're going to hit exit to the menu, and we're going to confirm because we've already played the tutorial. So now we're going to go to single player, and then we're going to create a new game. You can name this save whatever you want. So if you want to play the Mountain Pit, you can totally do that. If you want to play Scandinavia, which I've seen is a really good map firsthand, you can do that. Mine Town, you can do that. Coal Plants, Forest Quarry, just basic quarry, and then Forest Hills, Forest Flat, and then Arctic Winter. The Arctic Winter is where I was talking about. Obviously, you can't see any trees in that. So, trying to cut down trees and build wood blocks is probably going to be, all for naught because there's no trees. You just have a bunch of mountains and snow. I guess you could do some exploring and find maybe an area that is not, heavily coated with snow that maybe have some trees available, but I doubt that there's any of that land available. As far as the game mode is concerned, you can make the game mode as hard or as easy as you want. If you want to do hardcore, you totally can. You only get $100,000. Your interest rate is high. You do gain XP really quickly, so you will level up quickly, but your fuel consumption is also high, meaning if you don't have a fuel station nearby, and you run out of fuel, you're kind of going to be stuck. And so that's kind of, some things to consider when you're playing the different modes. I like to keep everything standard. My money, I like to earn money. So I wish there was a way to change this to like 0, kind of make it a little bit hardcore on myself, but I like to change it to 0. And I like to play, a little bit of the maps, first. That way I can kind of, see what I'm dealing with. And then as you learn the game, you can choose whatever you want to do. As far as the company goes, this is where you can set your company up. You just click on that and then view company. You can name it whatever you want to. You can, so like if I hit reset it, it'll reset everything back to 0, back to level 1. If you have a company manager and you want to create a company, you can call it, whatever you want to do, and then hit create. And then as you can see, it created your company. It's active. And then you can delete it if you don't like it. If you're like, screw that, I don't want that name, I want a different name, you can name it whatever you want to. Like I said, with the company logo, and this is kind of where it gets wild, with the company logo, you can't really click on it and like drag something from, your desktop to this. There is a way to do that. I'm not exactly sure how to do that. Like I said, I've been researching it, so I don't really know for sure how to change the logo. But as soon as I find out and as soon as I kind of get it myself, then you guys will be the first to know. I'm sure that there's probably videos out there on there, or, maybe if you Google it or something, which is what I did, I just Google it. It will tell you how to do it, but you do have that option to you available to you. So we'll go back to single player. We'll create a new game. I want to start in Scandinavia. Not going to go with infinite cash because, let's be for real, we're not that rich. And so we'll hit start game. Oh, you know what? I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to do Scandi 1. All right, we'll do Scandi 1, start game. Yes, I want to start Scandi 1. And so what'll happen now is it'll take us here. We start back at level 1. So we're level 1, $100,000. We've got all of our basic equipment again. So, we don't have the fast pickaxe or any of that stuff. And just, just to kind of prove that, we'll come over here and chop some trees down. Like I said, with the axe, you couldn't do anything anyway, but we'll come over here. Oh my goodness, you see how slow that's going? It's taking me forever just to pickaxe into the ground, which I guess is kind of realistic, but it kind of blows at the same time. So yeah, we'll just, what we'll do is we'll find a nice area where we can set up our base of operations. And so, with the base of operations, what I like to do is I like to find an area that's not too hilly and bumpy and stuff like that. We can take a look at our map and kind of see, where we are. We can zoom out and zoom in, and we can kind of see where we are, where we want to go, things like that. So it really just depends what you want to do, but I'm going to try to find a flat area that's not too hilly, where we can actually set up a base of operations and do a few things. And there are mountains in here that you can actually dig into. And so I want to kind of find like a little valley, because like, let's say we start right here, right? You can dig through that mountain, find ores. You can set up like your, oh goodness, what is this called? Like you could do like an underground mine if that's what you want to do. So like if you want to dig through the side of the if you want to dig through the side of this mountain, you can. And then after you dig through it, if you want to dig down, you can do that as well. You do have access to explosives, which are kind of helpful. And basically they're in your store. So you'll go under store, go to equipment, and then it should be down here. Oh, there it is, explosives. So explosives. Now, when you do this, pay attention to what the explosives do. So for example, this one has a blast diameter of 6 meters, 6 meters, excuse me, but it does not delete the material. That can be very important, especially like if you're trying to get ore or something and you want to use explosives, but you don't want the ore to disappear. This would be something that you can use in that situation. If you come over here to the Draymite, it does delete the material. So if you use the Draymite and you're trying to get rid of things, so that you can, like, let's say it was just trashy dirt and you're like, oh, I've got enough dirt already, I don't want any more trashy dirt, and I don't want to sell it, you can use this and it will delete the dirt, and then you don't have to worry about it. So just make sure that you pay attention for all of these and what they do. Like I said, you just need to click where it says click for more details. Just make sure you click that. With any explosive that you purchase, you will have to purchase a detonator. The nice thing about this is you can purchase one detonator and purchase like 7,000 of each one of these, and it will not matter. You can still use that one detonator for each one of these. So, you can do some things like that. We're not going to do any blasting right now because I'm trying to conserve as much of my cash flow as I need. But we are going to chop down some trees here. That way I have a good base of operations, and that way I can set everything up as I want to. Again, it really just depends on what you're trying to do and how you're trying to play your game. That really makes a difference. So, just keep that in mind. Good grief. That's why I'm not a lumberjack. I'm a gamer. There you go. All right. So, we have a pretty good section here. Now, like I said, if you want to come through and dig through this hill, we might start like, say, right here and just try to, go through here. I'm probably going to buy that fast pickaxe because I don't think it's too expensive. And I don't think it would, it would cost that much. But hey, I'm already promoted. I got 25 skill points. Oh, that's right, the skill points. That's what I was going to show you. Let's see if I can find those here. See, so... yeah, here we go. So I hit home up here. This is the skill tree, and this is how many skill points we have available. Like I said, you got increased run speed. You got, what is better credit score? You can get 25% more from your loan from the bank. Get 20% more experience and money. So yeah, let's do more experience and money. I do like that, especially if you're doing quests. Maybe it won't let us. There we go. I guess I have to unlock the skill tree first. Way to go, Lunar. All right, so we'll do increased run speed, and then let's see, more rewards for quests. What the heck? And we still got 12 points available. We'll just do some of these, I guess basic ones, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can choose whatever suits you best. It don't really matter. And then we'll go back to home. Text chat, I don't really use that. That's like if you have a group of people that you're trying to, communicate with, and like maybe somebody doesn't have a headset or something, you can use that text chat. But yeah, so that's what's gonna happen, and we're gonna dig in the side of this hill and probably come out the other side. The nice thing with the Scandinavia map is that there are so many different dirt types and ores on this map. It's literally insane. So I know that there's coal on this map. I know that there's there's a crap ton of pay dirt. So like if you're trying to do like gold mining for real, I mean, this will be the map to do it because there's just so much freaking pay dirt. It's insane. And then you have your regular dirt and things like that. So let's see here. I'm going to chop a few more trees down. Now, the reason I'm trying to chop some trees down here, and I'm trying to do it early, is because once I make this a flat land, I'm going to start setting up some machinery. Right, and the machinery is really kind of, oh yeah, with these special trees, I forgot, you gotta freaking pickaxe these because they're such garbage. They won't leave. There we go. Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you what the shovel does. Excuse me. So the shovel, if you really want to take some anger out and you just want to beat the hell out of something, you just come here and you whack it with your shovel. Makes me feel better, And it also levels out the ground, Does it do it in real life? Nah, not really. But, it's a fun stress reliever because, yeah, you can just beat the hell out of the ground and no harm, no foul, Yeah, so with the pickaxe, what else was I going to show you? Oh, yeah, with the dirt. Yeah, I don't know why with these little trees, they do not, go away. So you have to make sure that you use your pickaxe to get rid of them. Sometimes it's a real pain in the keister because you're like, good grief, dude, how long is it going to take for me to get rid of this? But typically a couple of hits and bing, bang, boom, you're done. It just really depends on what you're running into. Good Lord, I must really suck at this. Man. I'm a lumberjack, I'm okay. Try to hit trees, but what the hey? All right. There we go. Ironically, I used to deal with wood when I was a little bit younger. My grandpa, he would go cut firewood, and believe it or not, we would chop down trees and cut up firewood. So I do have a little bit of lumberjack experience. I don't wear the flannels or anything like that, and my beard's not Grizzly Adams long, but you get the gist. Whatever. So yep, just gonna cut a few more trees down. Now, keep in mind, the dozer and everything that we had was in our tutorial. So we do not have not the dozer, good grief, the loader. We don't have the loader. That's all something that we have to buy and things like that. But like I said, what I'm trying to do is get some of this dirt going because there is so much pay dirt on the map. I want to have a big enough area where I can set up my wash plant. And then, like I said, I'm chopping down some trees. That way I can make a few extra dollars in order to get all the items that I need. So if you want to call this like a mini hardcore, I guess you can. It's not like actual hardcore, but, it's like a mini version of hardcore or whatever. It doesn't matter. We're all here to have some fun and play a little bit of games. So that's kind of what I do. I just play games for fun. You get a lot of the people in the comments section. They're like, oh, you didn't do this. OSHA approved or M. Shaw approved or blah, blah, blah. I really don't care. It's a game. I'm here to have fun just like everybody else. So I'm hoping that this is fun for you and you're enjoying yourself. If you're not, that's why there's other channels. I totally get it. No harm, no foul, whatever. But, we're going to make a few dollars here. So, all right. Now I think I've got rid of, let's get this last one here. That's a big honking tree. You son of a biscuit eater. Get in my, there we go, inventory. There we go. All right, so, we'll get rid of a few of these little stumps right here. What the heck? A couple more trees, whatever. All right, so now, we're getting to the point where we've got a pretty good area cleared out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep working on this, and then in the next episode that you see, I should have like a wash plan, things like that set up. Like I said, I'm going to chop down a few more trees because I want to make a few more dollars. That way I can afford everything that I need to. We'll start off kind of small here and see how it goes. But this is Lunar Wolf signing off for today. Hope you all have had a good time, and I hope that my tutorial and everything was helpful. If you would, please comment, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. No pressure here. Like I said, we're just here to have a little bit of fun, make some new friends, play some games, whatever the case may be. Hey, I'm promoted. I got 8 more skill points. So before we end the episode, we will just go ahead and do this here. Go back to our inventory here. Go to home. Let's see, our skill tree. Do I want to run fast? Yeah, I want to run fast, but I want more rewards, so I only got 2 skill points, right? All right, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for coming and being part of the journey. This is Lunar Wolf signing off. Hope y'all have a great day, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.